Okay, so I was watching Polynesian culture videos on YouTube, and for some whatever reason, this ad came up, and I started watching it, and just got me angry. Not angry, but frustrated. I don't usually make videos like this. I usually don't concern myself with this stuff, but this just, oh my gosh. I'm just going to dive right into it. This guy, he's comparing the Big Bang to the Bible, which has been done a gazillion times before. Um, and I just couldn't help but just refute some of his claims he made because they're just ridiculous. But yeah, let's just go ahead and start watching it.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. What we're going to be talking about today is the Big Bang Theory versus the Bible. Here's the teaser, or here's the basic concept. The Big Bang Theory says that 13.8 billion years ago, there was this tiny little microscopic point in space. And it generated so much energy, it used Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared, and it went bang. And light was created.
Okay, so his Big Bang explanation wasn't that terrible, but there is some small details that don't really invalidate his point. They just kind of aggravate me because I'm kind of a physics guy. But just one small detail that doesn't really invalidate his point. But he said a point in space, but space didn't exist until after the expansion. Also, it didn't explode. It wasn't like a huge explosion like people seem to think it is. It was a stretching of matter in 4 dimensions. And another note was it wasn't just E equals mc squared. That wasn't the just equation. That equation by itself isn't even finished. We don't fully know the equations and mathematics of the Big Bang yet, but just for now, that one gets the general point across, is what I'll say. Doesn't invalidate his point, just a few things that kind of tick me
Light
off.
was created 13.8 billion years ago. So light's created here, and then 13.8 billion years later, humans are created. So in the Big Bang Theory, the first thing that was created was light, and the last thing created in the universe are human beings. Go 9.2 billion years, our sun is created, and then 13.8 billion years from light, you have humans being.
Okay, so this is where we start getting a little bit wonky with his arguments. The sun did not instantly just pop into existence 9.2 billion years after the Big Bang. It took millions of years for the sun to form. We don't know exactly when it started to form. That's hard to pinpoint because a lot of factors come into play because the formation of stars. I made a video a few years ago about the formation of stars, so I won't repeat myself. But just using 13.8 and 9.2 like billion years, that leaves a rather large margin of error that would throw your argument way off course. So that just doesn't make sense by itself. That seems very arbitrary.
Created. If you divide 9.2 into 13.8, you get exactly 2/3. So the fraction is 2/3 of the way from light to humans, our sun was created. And 2/3, as you know, is equal to 4/6. It's the same fraction. What does the Bible say? Moses writes the book of Genesis about 3,300 years ago. And Moses says that light was created on the first day. And he says the last thing created were human beings. Now, of course, Moses uses the term 6 days, and the Big Bang Theory uses billions of years. But the point here is we have 2 calendars, and both agree on the beginning, and both agree on the end. Moses also does something very interesting to a scientifically minded, logical person like myself. Wait a minute, when does Moses say that the sun was created? Moses doesn't create the sun on the first day, nor does he on the second day, nor on the third. He waits to the 4th day of a 6-day creation cycle.
Okay, so I understand you said that light was created first. All right, whatever. Whatever, we'll skip that. But on day 3, plants were created. How did they complete photosynthesis for over 24 hours? if the sun wasn't there? How did the planets receive photons? And if the light was already, in quotes, there, then what's the point of the frickin' sun? If the light just exists, why have the sun? I don't, I don't get how that makes sense. If I'm missing something, please correct me, but that just doesn't. Why would God or Yahweh create the universe with light already in it, just ever present, and then put the sun there? That just doesn't. But we get all of our light from the sun. If the sun didn't exist, it'd go black. So I just don't see that point. That's not an argument he's currently making. That's just something I noticed. That's a question for all of you. If you guys have an explanation, I'd love to hear it.
To create our sun, which is 4/6. 4/6 of the way through from light to human beings, the sun is created. It matches mathematically perfectly with the Big Bang Theory. 2/3 equals 4/6, 4/6 equals 2/3. It's the same fraction. So the language of science is mathematics. And mathematically, we've just shown that we have 3 data points that all agree with each other. The Big Bang Theory agrees with the Bible, or wait a minute, does the Bible agree with the Big Bang Theory?
So another point he kind of just chose was that the the emergence of humans was the end of the universe. Whoever said that? He said at the beginning of the video, he was like, "Oh yeah, humans end of the universe." I'm like, what? This just seems like an arbitrary point chosen to fit your claim. I don't see how that really lines up. Now, if you were talking about like the black hole era, or where the universe is coming to an end, or I just don't see how the creation of the universe involves humans at all. Humans had no part in the creation of the universe. The difference between, I guess, the quote-unquote science point of view and the biblical point of view is that humans were involved in the creation of the universe as we see it, but in science, humans don't matter at all. They had no play whatsoever in the creation of the universe. If, amino acids couldn't have formed, we would have never existed, but the universe would still go on. I mean, it doesn't, and if we didn't turn out to be human or something else, the universe would still go on. It doesn't really play a role. So just you choosing the point in humans, I will say, yeah, the parts kind of fit together, but when they were formed, but the 13.8 and 9.2 billion years being 2/3. I mean, yeah, but just the point where you choose humans as the end just seems very, very, very arbitrary.
And so you have to ask yourself, wait a minute, who came up with the idea that light was created a long time before our sun was created? Think about this. Moses was raised in Egypt. In Egypt, there are many, many gods, right? However, the greatest and most powerful god is the sun god named Ra. And what you're saying to me is, if you believe Moses was writing fiction, what you're saying to me is Moses took a pen and he wrote a book of fiction, and he agrees with the Big Bang Theory perfectly, not only just in order of the creation, which he gets it pretty much all the way right, but he also mathematically perfectly.
Please stop saying mathematically perfect. Stop that. Bad. No. No such thing.
Atheist friends, how did Moses do it? If he was writing a book of fiction, then how did he come up with that?
So at first I was going to ignore the question about the 3,300 years ago, because the argument was already shut down because he didn't predict it, but I knew if I did. Oh god, it's snowing outside pretty hard. Sorry. If I had ignored it, I feel like people, if anyone even watches this, would be like, oh, you didn't answer his question, so obviously you don't know how it worked. Well, here's your answer. He didn't. Because the math doesn't add up when you take the actual numbers. I think it's 4.604 billion years ago. I'll actually look it up right now. I'm 98% sure. Yes, according to the 1989 Astrophysical Journal, 4.8 0.604 billion years ago. And that 0.04 you may not think adds up to a lot, but that's millions. So that's 4 million. And then, so it'd be 4,604,000,000. That 4 million years, well, in a grand scheme of things, may not count, but in your mathematical calculations, they certainly do count because you're making a claim that it perfectly fits. So, in the age of the universe itself, it's not even a perfect fraction. It's 13.772. So you did 13.82, and the WMAP, the 2012 satellite, estimated the universe at 13.772. So I'm going to do some quick maths, and if you do 13.772 divided by 9 point, or excuse me, so it would be, it'll even still keep it 9.2. That gives you 1 point, or excuse me, I did the opposite. So you do 9.2 divided by 13.772. Yeah, that's a lot different. That's 0.67, which is a lot different than your original number. So that goes back to the mathematically perfect thing. It's not mathematically perfect. But yeah, I typically don't make videos like this. But thanks for watching. And yeah, I'm not making a claim whether or not God exists. I'm not stating that at all. I'm merely just refuting this guy's argument on the topic. Yeah, again, thanks for watching, and come back next time. I'll probably upload some Minecraft videos soon.